What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about last minute Christmas gifts, because y'all know the last minute someone can always say, can I bring so and so to dinner? And you're like, oh, and I have a gift for them. So I've got 3 small gifts that can be made in 15 minutes or less. So the first thing I'm going to talk about doing is a really short serger gift, which is we're going to make a eyeglasses case, and you can customize it. So what you want to do is you want 2 squares, 7 inches by 7 inches, okay, and then a piece of batting, 7 inches by 7 inches, and sandwich them together. Either spray them, you can quilt them together, or just spray them, that'll be fine. Or fusible if you have a fusible, just some way to get them to not shift around on you. So you can embroider it, because if you remember, an eyeglass case sort of goes here. If you have time, you can, like, here's the square, this would be the front. So you would fold it so the fold is on the left, and you would say put an initial or something right here. But what we want to do first is I want to take something round, and in this upper corner like this, I want to, where is my marker? Here we go. There we go. And I want to just take a dinner plate or something and just round up the upper right hand corner. Yeah, I can see that. And just take my scissors and cut it. Cut it into a round. Okay. I'm going to make a mark right here, and this is water soluble, so I'm just going to make a mark right here. Okay, right where the curve, it's hard to see, but it's right where the curve, and then it goes straight. I want a mark there, or a pin or something. Okay. So then you're going to go to the serger. Okay, I would need to thread the machine. I'm going to be using this designer 6 thread or designer 7 thread. You can use pearl crown rayon, you can use fancy metallic threads, whatever you like. And I'm going to thread them into both loopers, because I'm just going to use a 3 thread wide, nothing fancy. So this does not want to thread in here. I can guarantee you that. It does not want to go through the jet air threading. Since it won't go in there, I'm going to take another piece of thread, just a regular thread, about 1 yard long. Put the 2 ends together and clip them even. So I have the 2 ends. Sort of twist them. I'm going to put this on the lower looper because I already did the upper looper. Put the 2 cut ends into the jet air threading. I've locked down my threading tubes, so which would be either this button and turn the wheel, or put it on threading and turn the wheel until it goes ka-lunk. Okay, and now did that go through? Let's see. Not yet. Okay, so I'm going to hold on to this till I see it. There it is. Here's the open end. I'm going to put this thick stuff into the loop, pull it through. There we go. There's the presser foot. Put both of these underneath, and I'm going to thread the needle as normal with regular sewing thread. Reason we're not using you could use embroidery thread if you like, but you want to use a thinner thread because you are restricted by how big the eye of your needle is as to how thick a thread you can use. So there, thread that. Okay, come on, there we go. You can use either the right or the left needle. I am using the right overlock needle because I don't really like it. I don't want this stitch really super wide. I want it kind of like a normal width, not too big. So I'm going to put this on the stitch selector on B, The differential feed I'll leave alone on neutral where it is. My stitch length I'm going to put down to like 1.5. And I am going to want my width as wide as it'll go on the narrow. If I were using the left needle, I would put the blade width at the narrowest it would go. So let's stitch. I don't, and my blade is up. Make sure the blade is engaged, and it is. There we go. I don't want to cut anything off, or just barely anything. So I'm going to start stitching here, right on the end. Here's my curve. My curve is right here. I'm going to sew to this point. Now, I'm not going to go too fast. And you will see it's doing a really, it might go a little bit too much. It's a little too, almost two. Okay? Remember, these machines like to go straight. They don't like to curve. So as this leaves, and it's going to the left, I'm going to pull in front. And just keep the edge of the fabric right at the beginning of the fabric. And I'm going to sew until, here's that line that I made. So when that line is under the needle, I'm going to stop. I'm going to take the threads, pull the needle thread and pull straight back and go out a little bit because I want to sew that out. Okay. And I'm going to cut this tail here. Don't need it. Okay, I'm going to fold this in half, and you can use wonder clips or pins, or I'll just use a pin for now. Now I'm going to use a pin. I want to make sure all these edges are even. I'm going to put a pin, but if you're going to use a pin, do not put the pin like this. You're going to run over that pin and instantly ruin your blade. And I'm going to just simply start stitching and go straight across because it will be disastrous. Okay. Sewing the bottom. Okay. And I'm going to leave a tail on this end. Okay. So now this time I'm going to start at the top here. Remember, if you start with your blade, turn your hand wheel to your blade is its highest position. Okay, then I'm going to, this one I'm going to cut because I've got some little fuzzies that have to come off. There we go. And it caught. And I'm going to cut. Don't you do that. There. Leave a pretty long tail on both sides. You want to take a double-eyed needle or a big chenille needle or a yarn darner or something like that and thread this and weave it through the back. Come on, doesn't want to weave. Let's go, there we go. So I put about that far, pull it through, and I'll do that for the other ends. And then you can put fray check or fray block if you need to. And I've got a little extra thread here. There we go. And now, there, all done. So now I've got, I'll weave those in. I did not weave these in. give it a little press, and your eyeglass case is done. Looks really cool, huh? Okay, so the next project we have. Okay, so what you can make is a little tiny a mug rug. Mug rug can be made, say, I don't have a pattern for a mug rug. Well, if you have any machine, pretty much, any of the regular machines, doesn't have to even be a new one, because I think even 10 years ago, all the machines would do this. So I'm going to go to embroidery. Okay, now all machines have this frame, these frames. I want to pick a square frame. I'm going to use the 5x7 frame, so I just want it to be plain. This is your straight stitch, so that's all I need. Straight stitch and set. What we want to do is edit it, size it, make it larger. I want it to be about 5 inches by 5 inches, and this is telling me 4.99. Good enough, good to go. Okay, I want to copy it. Oh, first of all, I want to move it into the center. Make sure it's absolutely in the center of the screen. Okay, and I'm going to go back to edit, and I'm going to copy it. And see, it puts it on there, but it sort of shifts it. So while I have it highlighted with the red box, I'm going to hit move it to the center. I also want to change its color. So it's black, so I'm going to make it a different color. You don't have to change the color if you don't want to. You can just leave it, okay? So I have 2, okay? Then I'm going to say if I wanted to put in a name or something, okay? I'll make this for Terry. So I'm going to add lettering. I like that one. T and medium size, because I know that won't work. RR. Okay, set. Okay, and I think I'll change the color to yellow so I can see it really good. Okay, it's ready to stitch. Okay, now I may want to move something. So what I did at first, okay, before I stitch anything, I put my hoop. Here's my hoop. Okay, I found the center of the hoop. And how I found the center of the hoop is that I used the template. So you want to do the ABC so you can see it. And you've marked the 5 target points. Okay? Because if you're using plain fabric, no big deal, you just stitch it. Okay, but I have this piece of fabric that I found. And so what I want to do is take it, find the middle, and this is only because I have this machine. If I had been using the other one, this would not work, but there's my middle. Place it over here so that it's straight. Come over here, and I'm going to slide this into the hoop, because this camera, this and the Luminaire, the Solaris, the Dream Machine, and the Destiny all have a camera. So I'm going to come over to here, and I'm going to scan it in. Okay, so let it scan. Okay, and see, this is showing me what it'll look like. Well, I need to move that. I don't like the way that looks. The red box is around the words. So I'm going to hit edit and move it down. Okay, everything looks good. Let me scoot it over a little bit. Maybe move it down there. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so then I'm like, okay, it's where I like it. I am now okay. I'm ready to hit embroidery. So I'm ready to stitch, and it's got 3 color stops. So I'm going to come over here. Okay, I'm going to mark. I took my marker and I marked where the top and the bottom are. There's a line there and a line there, so I'm going to put this back in the exact same spot. Hoop this is hooped with just regular let's see, I want red thread. Regular thread. Apparently I didn't thread it, did I? I forgot. Okay, it's threaded. And the first thing I'm going to do is a placement. So I'm going to just let it stitch out the first stitch. This is my placement. Okay, well, this is a single. Okay. I'm going to put the batting on the top so that it covers all of the stitching. And run the second color stop, which is the same thing. Remember, I just copied that same square. Okay. I probably want to do one more, so what I'm going to do is trim away this batting, mostly because I don't want a bulky seam. I like to use curved scissors. You don't have to cut super close. Oh, these scissors are bad. I'm going to back up because it's telling me it's going to do the name. So I am going to go to my plus or minus. I want to go back a color stop. Sounds good. I want to, because I want to cut. I want to put the fabric down, and I'm going to put the fabric in the exact same spot I had it. Here it is. See the marks? So I'm going to put these right there and there and there and there. Okay? And I'm going to just tack it down. Now this one is a little bit iffy because it was a pattern. Most of the time I just do this out of something normal. Okay, I'm going to leave red thread and I'm going to let it stitch the name. And I'll let it stitch that name. Okay, so now it's done stitching. So I have taken, you can do matching, but I just use plain old muslin. And you're going to take 7 inches square and you're going to fold it in half. Give it a good press. Put the fold towards the, in the center. Same thing here on this side, so it covers all of the stitching. And I'm going to take, that's not it, here it is. This is using that Kimberbell tape or surgical tape. And I'm going to tape this down, so, but I'm not going to leave it. I don't trust this stuff. And see, this whole thing is taking almost no time to stitch. Okay, and then let it stitch again, which is actually the first stitch. That's okay. When it goes over the, I always stop it just to be sure it made it okay. I like this rounded one, but it could be square. In fact, if you don't have an embroidery machine, just do the same thing with a sewing machine. It'll do the same. And you don't have to have a name embroidered into it. But I can tell you guys like that. So anytime, even though it's a small little gift, if it's got personalization with it, with their name, they'll love it. In fact, see how I got some yucky stitching? I don't like that. So I will take this over to the sewing machine and here, and I'm going to stitch it because I don't trust it. Here we go. And I'm just going, I normally wouldn't do that, but my tensions are off. I'm just going inside the lines. See, ladies, sometimes in the hoop isn't necessarily better or faster. Like I said, this does not even have to be done in the hoop. Just wear the regular straight stitch and you get a really pretty piece of fabric. You don't have to have a monogram, but if you have the machine, whoever you're giving it to will absolutely love it just because it has their name on it. Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to take the stabilizer off. At least as much as I can get off. That'll be inside, so really who cares? Just it makes it softer. Okay, and now I'm going to trim around the outside. Trim it really close. You could use pinking shears to trim it, but I'm just trimming it to a little less than 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Also because I'm real confident in that stitching. Okay, and I have the batting on the back, and then turn it. Okay, and they do not see my turner. My turner isn't in there, but you don't see this. Don't tell me you don't do it too. We all do this. And we all get yelled at because you can poke a hole through it. Yeah, I know. But the trick is to not poking a hole if you're using your scissors. Is push the fabric into the scissors. Do not put any pressure behind the scissors whatsoever. So I'm going to press it. Give it a little press. And this one's got some steam in it. You could top stitch it if you want to. I'm not going to. And now, but you can take little snippets of steam-a-seam or Wonder Under or any kind of fusible web and just slip it in there and fuse it shut, and the mug rug is finished. So that is a nice fast gift. Really, it's so far I've done 2 gifts in 38 minutes, and that's including talking and setting up the machine and showing you how to do things. Not bad, huh? Okay. I usually buy bunches of these towels. This is from the dollar store. It's a red one. Nothing fancy about it. And if you pick something that is a 4x4 design, it'll stitch up very quickly. Again, if you can put an initial or a monogram. If you didn't want to make it Christmas, you could just simply put a monogram on there. You can put a letter, something really simple, Bob's Kitchen, whatever you want, or a name, whatever you like. So when I'm using a rinse away, tear away stabilizer, and it's not very well stabilized. Yeah, scoot that over a little bit. And I'm using the lines to make sure it's straight. Much better. See, that looks a lot better. And it would probably stitch okay if I left it, but you know, not with my luck. Having it not hooped correctly is really inviting trouble. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the machine. So I'm going to hit embroidery, and I'm going to just simply pick what's in something in the machine. And I want something small because I'm using the 4x4. And if I can get away with Christmassy stuff, I will. I saw something before. Ah, that right there. The two, see those two birds? They're only, this says they're only 2 inches by 4 inches. And it'll take 10 minutes to stitch. So that's good. I'll go embroidery. Here, okay. I'm just going to simply hoop it. I hooped it already. I'm going to put it in the machine. Now, the reason I like to use a rinse away, tear away is because I don't have to worry about pulling every little bit out, and most of it will wash away. However, it has rayon fibers in it that still hold the shape of the design when it's being washed. Remember, we use stabilizer for 2 reasons. Number 1, to get through the stitching process so that it looks like what it's supposed to look like. And the other thing is that we want to have it stay that shape throughout the life of the garment as long as you use it. So towels get washed. The rule of thumb is anytime you use towels or you wash something, it should be a tearaway, not a tearaway stabilizer, but a cutaway. But I don't want to leave that ring of white from the stabilizer behind the design. That's going to be ugly. If I use a wash away, it's going to look terrible. A tear away, it'll look nice when you stitch it. However, when you wash it, it's kind of ripples up kind of bad. Well, the one that's the rinse away, tear away has rayon fibers in it, so therefore not all the fibers wash out, and it still keeps the shape of the design throughout the wearing process. If this were a thick towel, and it's not too thick, so it's fine, then if it were a thick towel, what I would do is take spray starch and spray the top of the towel, take a hot steam iron and flatten the pile of the towel so that it flattens out and it gives you a better stitch out. This one isn't necessary, but you do need to have a topper of some sort, and I'm just going to place this is a water-soluble topper, and it just goes away. You don't have to tack it down if you don't want to. You could spray it, pin it, whatever. But, you know, I'm not going to care. So, I'm going to put green. This is telling me it wants green thread. And this will take 10 minutes, so we'll just let it start stitching. And we'll talk while it's stitching, because it's like watching paint dry. God knows I've had enough experience in the last year watching paint dry. Okay, do I like the placement of that, or should I move it closer? I move it. I think it's fine. I'll just leave it. Okay, then let it start to stitch. You see those little ears? See what she's doing? She's shopping. No, no, don't have that. Such a bad cat. Good. Okay, bye. You didn't get anything. Okay, take it out. Take all this mess out. Okay, and I just had you to get these little bits out, just take a damp washcloth, a wet washcloth, and it'll come out. But look how nice it turned out. And this is just a built-in, and this is even a difficult one to use because of the fact that it's got some tiny stitching, but because the pile of this towel is so light, it's so thin that it worked out really well. So that's all I have. It turned out really nice. And so you take it out, and I will just spritz it. Take what I like about the rinse away, tear away, see, most of it will come out. There's still some in here. You could pull more of it out, but inside of this stitching right here, those rayon fibers are going to stay there and make this look nice even after it's been washed. So yes, all the stuff's not out, but this is a simple little design. Took 10 minutes to stitch, 15 at the most, and see, you got a gift ready to go. So like I said, if you put an initial or something on it, they'll think you spent hours and spent days just thinking of something for them. So that's the nice thing about being able to sew. Really is. Makes people think, well, you are special. Absolutely. All of you who sew, who make things, we make them with love. We make them for our friends, for our family, and we make everything with love. So anyway, have a great time, and I will see you next week. Love you guys. Bye.